King David was the greatest king the Hebrews ever had, but perhaps not the best dad they ever saw. He had 8 sons. The firstborn son was named Amnon. Now Amnon had a problem. He was sick. He was lovesick. Unfortunately, the woman he was in love with was his half-sister, Tamar. He came up with a plan. He'd lay in bed. He got sicker and sicker until his dad was called. King David came into his bedroom. "Oh, Amnon, you look terrible, man. What's wrong with you?" Amnon's like, "Oh, Dad, is that you, Daddy? Oh, man, I'm really sick, Daddy. You know what would really make me feel better, though? How about if you sent Tamar to cook that one special bread she makes? Oh, man, I would feel so much better." You would think King David would have sniffed out this plan, but he didn't. Instead, he called for Tamar. He said, "Tamar, your brother Amnon's really sick. I'm going to have you go in, make him that special bread." So Tamar obediently went down to Amnon's room, took the ingredients, started making the bread, puts her hands into the flour, begins to knead it rhythmically. Amnon is watching her from his bed. The movement of her shoulders as she kneads, he's imagining her under her princess robes. Finally, the bread's ready. She brings it over to Amnon and says, "Amnon, there's the bread. Hope you feel better." "Oh, Tamar, you know what would really make me feel better? If you were to feed it to me. I'm not sure I have the energy to eat it myself." And then with surprising energy, he said, "Everybody else out of the room." So Tamar sat down beside him. They're alone in his bedroom. She has this special bread, and with the care of a nurse, she begins to feed him this bread when he confesses his love for her. "Tamar, I've got to have you. I must have you. I want you. I need you. I love you." "No," she said, "that can't be. That's disgusting. You're my half-brother." But he was stronger than she was. He took her by force, wrestling her down into the bed. Once he was done, he hated her more than he had loved her. As much as he had wanted her, now she disgusted him. "Get out of my room." She's out in the hallway. She took her princess robe and tore it in two. She sat there sobbing in the hallway when along comes her brother, Absalom. Absalom finds his sister Tamar there. "Tamar, what's wrong? Who did this to you?" It was Amnon, wasn't it? King David heard about what had happened, but he did nothing. For 2 years, Absalom did nothing either. For 2 years, Absalom carefully hatched a plan, not just against Amnon, but also against a father who had ignored what had been done to his daughter. After 2 years had gone by, he went to his father, King David, and he said, "David, Dad, it's time for my annual sheep shearing. I'd like to invite you and all the sons up to the sheep shearing. It's going to be a great time. You won't want to miss it." King David said, "Absalom, I'd love to show up, but I can't. You know, the affairs of state. You're going to have to excuse me. Sorry, I can't make it." "Oh, come on, Dad. Come on. You got to show up." David said, "I can't. I'm sorry." Absalom said, "Well, perhaps you could send as your representative your oldest son, Amnon." He said, "Okay, yeah, that's a good idea, Absalom. I'll send Amnon." So Amnon and the other sons of the king went to Absalom's sheep shearing party out in the country. Absalom got his servants together and said, lads, here's what we're going to do. Tonight, after the sheep are sheared, after dinner has been eaten, after Amnon has drunk way too much, I'll give you the signal, and then every loyal one of you grab your sword and sink it into the body of Amnon. He must pay for what he has done. Be courageous tonight, lads. So they sheared the sheep. They had a big lamb roast. Everybody was drinking. Amnon had too much to drink. When he was drunk, Absalom said, now, lads, have at him. Knives flashed in the firelight, and they were buried in Amnon. He died there. The rest of the king's sons fled for Jerusalem. David received word that all of his sons had been killed. But one of the palace wags said, no, David, don't worry. It's not all of the sons. It's just Amnon. Absalom, because he had killed his brother, fled the territory, went to live with his father-in-law until things would cool down. That's not the end of the whole story, but that's the end of this part of the story. One small part of God's big, big story.